Yo, this is Brendan with Goats Gaming. I'm here with Michael.
Hi.
We're going to talk about getting better at the game today. This is going to be our discussion video for it. We have 4 sections, and we have multiple little subsections in this discussion. Okay. Our first section is going to be learning the rules. Right. And there's lots of different little things we can talk about it. We're going to get in depth in a couple of them, and hopefully this video will help you guys improve at the game. Our first thing in learning the rules is going to be spell speeds. Right now, there's technically 3 spell speeds in this game. There's spell speed 1, 2, 3, and there's a hidden one as a 4th spell speed. We'll get into that in a sec. Spell speed 1 is effects that can just be activated like as an initial thing, like a Lone Fire Blossom, where you activate effect. Right, summon a monster, activate the effect, or a normal spell card. That's spell speed 1. Okay. Now, spell speed 2 are chainable cards, like a regular trap card or a quick play spell, right?
A quick play monster effect.
Quick play monster effect, that's another example, right? Things that you can respond to, like Forbidden Chalice, Dimensional Barrier, that's a spell speed 2, okay? Spell speed 3 is counter traps.
Only counter traps.
Only counter traps. So counter traps include Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, which is unfortunately banned, but 7 Tools of the Bandit if you want to get Zacky. There's a lot of spell speed 3 cards that are generically bad right now, just because a lot of the time these cards include high costs, but their effects don't exactly pay for what the cost is because they were made a long time ago and they're not relevant in any given format. Cards that are good in this format, their spell speed 3 is things like Strike as your main thing, right? Warning is still played, but some people side it out and don't main it. That's fine, right? But there's other things along those lines, okay? Those are just a few. Spell speed 4. Now this is things like Super Poly.
Exceed Encore.
Exceed Encore, that's a good one. What we mean by spell speed 4 is it's not technically in the game as a spell speed 4, but when you activate this card, you can't respond to it, even with a spell speed 3. Okay? So by activating a spell speed 4, it's unrespondable. You can't do anything, it just happens. That's the spell speed 4. That, generally speaking, a lot of the time spell speed 4s are just straight outright banned from the game. Exceed Encore, I don't believe is banned.
No, it's not.
The reason being is it doesn't see much play. It's not very good, but it's okay. It's very lackluster in this given format. Okay.
That's fair. The next is learn your phases: your draw phase, your standby phase, your main phase 1, your battle phase, your main phase 2, and your end phase.
Yep.
Just from the start, it's just way back in the day when the game just started. It was just draw phase, standby phase didn't mean anything. Then you go right to your main phase. Nowadays, you have Paleos, toad effect during standby. You have card effects that you might want to activate during draw phase that you might have to pay life points, like with DDDs, during your standby. Most of your plays do come up in your main phase 1, which you should know. You can only summon during that time. You can special summon, activate your normal spells, your traps, etc., etc. Just you gotta learn when to know how to play your cards in the right moment.
Yeah, you have to structure in your phases in the proper time. Like you guys will see some of our old gaming videos. You'll see me. I play Paleos a lot. With Backjack, what I'll tend to do is on their end phase, I will send back Backjack, banish it, or so I can look at the top card, right? I'll generally have it stacked by then, right? And you just time it so that you know what you're going to draw during your standby phase, right? If you play it out properly, it lets you stack your deck in Paleos, which makes you so much stronger, right? That's what you're going for.
And just in battle phase, you should know also the smaller steps in battle phase. Your battle step, your damage step, where your damage step is where you can only activate cards to either negate a certain card or activate...
Special summon or...
Yeah, you can't special summon during your damage step, though.
Yeah, no, not during damage.
Yeah, you can only activate cards that can change your attack amount, like Lost Wind,
Chalice.
Yeah, Chalice, any of the forbidden cards that could really just change that. Yep. You can only do that during that time. Any other time you can, but then they can respond with... Like, if they attack, they don't have response, and it's like, okay, then during damage step, and they try and activate a Mirror Force, they can't do that. Because they can't activate during the time your attack has already been declared.
Yeah, so. The attack has already successfully went through. You're now activating a card on the resolution of the attack for damage step, right? Which the calculation will get added into life points. And that's what we mean by that.
It gets a little bit more in-depth, but it's just like, with more practice, you'll just know a lot more about it, just with more experience with it. Your next is your main phase 2 after everything. Same deal as main phase 1. Same standard stuff, activate the same cards. You can enter battle phase again, it's fine. But then you go to your end phase, which end phase now is just broken. The most viable thing right now is Cosmos. Like, you play Cardomize and Cosmo Tin Can. During the end phase, you get to choose, you get turn priority to choose what you want to activate.
Yeah.
So you can resolve card demise first, so you discard your entire hand. Then you can use Tin Can's effect to add a Cosmo back to your hand.
Yeah, you got to time it in the right timing, guys. Another good example with that is Demise and Yusenju's, right? Like how they bounce back to your hand or your end phase, right? You discard for Demise first, right, on your end phase, and then you bounce them back. So you skip that little phase, right? Still technically in the same phase, but you're ordering it so that you will still maintain your advantage, right? In learning the rules, our next one is
Chain links.
chain links. Yeah, exactly. So we'll use something very simple for this. We can use chain burn as a great example, right? The way chain burn works is they activate a card, right, and they'll respond. Your opponent could activate a card. You could respond, right? That becomes chain link 2, right? Mm-hmm. Initial one, chain link 1, chain link 2. They may respond with something else, right? If they don't, whatever, then you activate another card. Response, give your opponent time to respond, right? If no, that's chain link 3, and so forth, right? The reason that chain burn works is because in the card Chain Strike, right, you take more damage for every chain link that card is activated after, right? That's how you burn for so much in chain burn, right? Now, with chain links, you guys have to remember that when you have chain links that like activate and resolve at the same timing, player priority, right? So what we mean by that is the person whose turn it is gets to decide which order that happens in, right? A good example would be Mermails when they discard for Megalo cost, right? If they have an infantry and a dragoons, they get to choose the chain link of what those cards are activated in. So dragoons could be chain link 1, chain link 2, etc. In that fashion, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's how I like to resolve with my chain links, right?
Those depending on if multiple cards are summoned. Like I play Wind Witches, and it's just like you summon your Ice Spell, you summon your Glass Spell, you get to choose which one is your chain link 1 and your chain link 2 is because they're both summoned simultaneously. But since as turn priority, you get to choose which you actually get to activate first.
Yeah, which is annoying as hell. I don't like that. Okay. Our another section is learn the meta and play the meta. Okay. Now the meta is constantly changing, guys. We all know that. We play the game, right? Some people don't like meta. That's fine. If you guys don't like, if you guys are more casual players, that's totally cool. You guys could be the next Kyle. It's great. But you got to learn the strengths, right, of the given meta, right? Now, typically in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's always something called the triangle, right? Me and Joe were talking about this earlier today, just personally discussing it, right? There always tends to be a triangle in Yu-Gi-Oh. There's always 3 decks that are the best decks in any given format. One deck will always be better than the other deck. That deck that is worse than that one will be better than the next one, and then that one will be better than the other one, right? It cycles, right? It'll always be a rotation of the triangle, right?
It's rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, it's rock, paper, scissors. But, I mean, obviously, one deck can still always beat the other one. It just depends on how good your hand is, right? Guys, like I always like to say, you can be the best player in the world, but if you draw crap, you draw crap. That's just how it is sometimes, right? Currently, right now, there's a lot of things that you can main and play in the meta, which is fun, right? You can play Zoo, you can play Paleo, which is a great deck. You can play Wind Witch Artifacts, which Michael plays. Metaphos Zoo, which Joe plays. It's just a variant of Zoo, but it's also its own thing with Metaphos, right? There's a lot of different things that you can do, right? You just have to learn what's currently in the meta, how to play against it, and decide what you want to play, right? It's always your player choice, right? So learn what you guys like to play. Like I'm more of a reactive player, so I like to play Paleo, right? Whereas Joe, for example, you guys all know Joe, he likes to just go all nuts, right? So he plays Metaphors and just spams like a son of a so-and-so. But, that's how it is, right? Like, you can always tech your own cards in for whatever given deck you like. Michael has a couple different techs for his Wind Witch Artifacts. And it's a very good deck, right? I hate it, but that's me, because I think it's bullshit. But that's besides the point.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's section 2. On section 3, guys, we have play tests.
Oh, play test now. That's fun. When you first start on the game, you're very intimidated by the game because let's say you go to a locals, you think, I bought a few cards. I can beat my friends that I play casually with. I can go into a locals and just
win.
I can just win because I beat my friends. Why can't I beat them? Then you get hit with the hard truth that everyone's playing meta. Well, our locals are, and that is just. If you come there and you're just not ready for it, then you're gonna get killed, and you're gonna get a bad opinion of the game, and
yeah, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged, guys. That's the thing, right? If you guys are more casual players, I think that's what Mike was trying to say. If you guys are more casual players and you think you're gonna go wreck your locals, and you don't, you meet a bunch of players that are considered pretty damn good, right? don't be discouraged by it, right? There's always room to improve. Hence why we're making this video, right?
Usually there's a lot of players that are willing to help you, so like us, we're trying to help a lot of people. They come to us for deck ideas, they come for us for choices. We're always trying to help them because people say that a lot of people are just very rude and mean, but a lot of them are very good guys, and it's just, if you can ask to play test with them. They can play a meta deck that they are playing. They can show you what weaknesses they are. They can show you what's good about them. If you really like the deck, then you might be able to like learn from them and buy the deck yourself, and then you get the experience from them, and then you get to play it as yourself for better. Then you can, when you have that deck, you play other people, and in turn you just keep continually getting better.
Yeah, you always want to try and play against people that are better than you, right? Because that if you're playing against someone who's better than you, then you yourself are going to get better by playing that person, right? Like if you guys legitimately are the best player in your area, which you could be, that's totally fine. If you are, then you want to play against people that you consider great in your area as well, right? Like in our area, we're pretty good. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best, right? But out of everyone in our city, we're pretty damn good, right? And we like to play against the other people in our city that are really good. We have a lot of good players in the city that I think I have a hard time playing, and you know what? I lose to sometimes, and sometimes I win. It happens, right? But you gotta properly decide who you're going to test with. You don't want to go in and play against some random player who's just playing Chamberlain for fun, as an example that we talked about earlier, right? You're not going to get better from playtesting with Chamberlain, right? You want to, if you're playing Winwich Invoked, right? You want to play against a Zoo player because maybe that's your hard matchup, right? That's something that you want to do. Playtest, and then by playtesting, you can get better in that fashion as well, right?
You can work on your weaknesses, make them your strengths.
Yeah,
basically
that's a good one. And another small facet of playtesting is testing your hands. What I like to do personally is I'll have my deck, say I'm playing 40, I'll draw my 5, right? I'll put my 5 down, and I'll decide if that's a good hand. If it's not, okay, whatever. I'll go to my next 5, and I'll check that hand. If I like that hand, if I don't, whatever, right? And I'll continuously do that until I have 8 sets of 5 there, right? And it'll be perfect. That'll be my 40. I can see which hands are good, and I can get a ratio as to how good each individual hand is. I may have 2 bad hands, but if I have 6 good ones, that's still pretty good. That's still pretty good consistently, right? That's just something that I personally do, and you can do different things along that lines. Like what we do as a team is we like to test side deck cards by when we had a regionals a little while ago. What we did is Joe would start with a side deck card because he knew Paleo was not a hard matchup for him, but he wanted a really good side deck card. So this is a great example. He used is Holding Legs? I believe it's Holding Legs. He used Holding Legs, and
if you don't know what it does,
if you don't know what it does, what it does is when it's normal summoned, right, it bounces everything. It's like a giant tornado, right? Yeah. So it'll force out Warning or Strike, right? And then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, okay, and choose a card on their field, and they just can't activate it that turn. Or does it bounce them? Does it bounce the individual card, or does it just...
No, it bounces. It bounces
Joe's
all
over
cards, and if in the graveyard you can take it out, and you can...
There you go. Joe's over there. But it ended up being a wicked card, right? Yeah. And I hated it, because what we do is I would go first every time, and we would let Joe start it with his hand. I already knew it was in his hand, and we would see how my hand could react to it. If I didn't open up Toad, it was crap. My entire back row would get bounced, and I would almost always lose that game. Even if it didn't get bounced and I had Strike, I wasted a Strike, and then I lost another card. So even if I set 5, I would only have 3 from one card.
Yep.
It was excellent. It was a really good card. That's section 3, guys. Section 4, practice a lot. You gotta practice, guys. Go to locals, play online tournaments, play Yugioh Pro, Dueling Book.
Test a lot of stuff against a lot of random people. If you want to get even better, you can play against like the new OCG stuff. I don't recommend doing that because you're not really going to face against that. But just constantly facing them over and over and over, you'll get it by memory. You'll be like, okay, they'll play it like this. They'll play it like this. I know how to stop them with this, with a good interruption. Done.
Yeah, if you learn to time things in the right order and chain link, guys, by practicing, you become a better player, right? It's very simple things. 1 to Max C, 1 to DD Crow, etc., right? Hand traps come into play a lot, right? 1 to activate D barrier, responses, right? That's how you guys learn those things. You practice. It doesn't just become basic knowledge and you see it on YouTube once or twice and that's when I do it, right? No, you need to practice because if you just see it and you think you're going to remember, you might forget. And if you forget, it's going to lose you a game, right? So you guys have to practice. Practicing is the only way to improve, guys.
It's also mirrored the other way around. If you're playing that deck and then they do that to you, how you know how to counter it, how you know how to make them lose enough cards. They max you, let them only even out or let them only +1. That's it. Just only let them do that. Don't go off when you know either you can kill them, go off, sure. But if you can't, if you're just starting, don't do anything really. Just kind of sit there, establish your defense, and let them go. Instead of letting them have everything and blowing you out of the water next turn.
Definitely. Another thing, guys, with practicing, you learn to stay calm, right? I know me personally, when I first started going to regionals, I was always super anxious about it. Like, it was like, because I wanted to do well, right? Everybody wants to do well when they go to a bigger tournament, when they go to YCS. When you go to locals, you want to win locals. Why would you go and spend however long your locals takes? Ours is like 4 hours, it depends. Why would you want to go there and lose, right? So you're anxious a little bit, right? You want to win. I understand that. I like winning. We all like winning. That's why we play this game. You all know it, right? But if you're anxious, you're more easily frustrated. If you become frustrated, then you're more likely to make a misplay, guys.
And then in turn, later on, you get more pissed at the game, and then
definitely. Like, if you're angry at the game and you don't want to play the game, we get it. But if you're frustrated, guys, then you tend to make mistakes, right? If you're making mistakes, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, just don't look at them as problems. Just look at them. Oh, I could have done this instead. Oh, that would have won me the game. Don't get mad about it. Actually, look at it. Next time, I'll do it.
Yeah, use it as a learning tool, right? That's the best way to say it for sure. Okay, and that's our brief discussion on how to improve the game, guys. See you later.